Present. All right, so welcome everybody. My name is Matt. Probably most of you have seen my face somewhere or have talked to me on chat or had some sort of interaction with me. I'm on the product team here at Slemma, and we're excited to show you a lot of cool stuff that's changing with this product update. There's a lot, but it's all really cool. But just little housekeeping things before we get started. Just like in the chat, as you guys are doing, talk with each other, ask questions. I'll be checking back periodically. If you're asking a question about what I'm talking about right then, you can ask it in the chat. But if you have more general question, just put in the Q&A and then I'll get it to the end. That's how I generally like to do these. But let's see, what else? I think that's pretty much it as far as housekeeping. So let's just get started. The first thing is pricing. We are changing our pricing. So I want to go like, how does that affect me? And blah, 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 blah. The quick answer is it won't. You'll only be getting stuff no matter what plan you're on. Excuse me. UI improvements. I'll be walking you through the beta. So you'll get to see the new small improvements to the UI, just making it a little cleaner. And client reporting. Client reporting is probably what I'm most excited about. Client reporting is a group of features that will make it really a lot easier for you to share reports and manage those reports and maintain them within the Slemma app. It's really, really cool. Makes Slemma less of a tool and actually puts it into a platform because you can really build your own product with Slemma. Really, really cool. And data refreshing. So data refreshing, we are updating the mechanism behind the scenes, which is going to change your user experience for the better. Okay. So like I said, I'll be jumping back and forth and seeing if there are any comments. But let's get started. So the first thing is pricing. So this is a quick overview of what the new pricing will look like. Basic is the starter plan if you're on that plan. I don't want to go into depth on this just because it won't affect our current customers so much. Nothing about your current plan will change except for two main things. One, the small business plan is getting all of the client reporting features just added to them. You don't need to do anything. You will have access to them starting on the 15th. I'll be showing you what they mean. Also, for a long time, we've had 2 user counts. And many of you might not have known that, or 2 user types. Many of you might not have known that because it was kind of like hidden. But if you wanted to add clients, we had a separate user type called clients. So there was internal users and external users. And there were actually 2 user pools. So you need to buy client seats and you need to buy user seats. We're getting rid of that because it was too complicated. So now you're going to have 1 pool. And client management will be added to all plans starting from the small business up. So that means you only have to worry about 1 user count. You just buy users and it's still $10 per user. That's nothing changing about that, but you can use them for a client or for an internal user. And so those are the 2 main things that matter for our current customers. But this plan is also of interest. This plan is a new plan, calling it the standard plan. You get 30 users for $200. So it's basically 20 users for the 200 plus an extra user bundle. So it's a user bundle for free, basically. And you get access to embedding, branding, which I'll show you in a little bit, and also this. So if you're a new customer, you'll get 3 hours onboarding assistance. So that's 3 in the first month. So that's 3 hour-long calls with me or Josh, or probably just me or Josh, and then an actual dedicated rep, which is 1 hour per month for as long as you're buying the standard plan. So this is in response to some people who just need a little more help. So we're adding this extra plan that kind of has it included. And you will be able to upgrade from the small business to the standard plan. You'll see that daily refresh. So we're actually putting in the refresh rate as a part of the plans. Now, obviously for small business, current users, you guys have access to the hourly refresh. That will not change. And if you upgrade to the standard, you'll be on a special standard plan. You won't lose the hourly refresh, even if you're a current small business user. The new people will have to just enjoy the daily refresh, but old customers will upgrade from that. Okay. Any questions about that? Kind of just blaze through it a little bit. It really shouldn't affect you guys too much. Just in case you want to upgrade to the standard plan, that's pretty much going to be the only thing that really changes that. Yeah, I think it's pretty clear. Okay, cool. So we'll be going over what each of these features means basically in the client reporting section. Okay, cool. UI improvements to the app. Let's go. Which one do I want? I want this one. Okay, cool. So this is the new user interface. It's not so drastically different. The changes we're making aren't going to confuse everything and make you wonder where everything is. They're very small, minor adjustments. This is the home screen. You can see we've added our logo and our product name here. We've renamed all our files into library. And you'll see that these tabs up at the top are now available for every tab, just to make navigation a little bit easier. Instead of having created by me over here like Google does, we've moved it up to the top so you can search created by me in dashboards. The next thing is we've renamed reports because reports didn't explain what it was. So we went back and forth a lot trying to figure out what a cool name was for reports. Then we just decided to call it what it is. They're saved charts. Saved charts allow you to save a chart and then insert that same actual object into many different dashboards. If you change an aspect of the saved chart, it will change it in all instances. And they are also just single visualizations. So we changed the name. Hopefully that makes it more clear as to what reports are. The next changes is you'll see data sources. So currently there's integration, or there's data sets and integrations tabs over here. To be clear, nothing's changing about the object count. We still need to have an integration object and a dataset object. They're different. But in the navigation, it made sense to combine them into two. And basically, oh, this is a bad example, unfortunately. Here, let me switch over to the Slemma team. Okay, so if you have multiple teams, you'll see teams are over here now. That was like a small little thing. But in the data sources tab, you will see a list not of data sets, but of integrations. And if I select one of these Infusionsoft integrations, I'll click it. There's a Browse Datasets button. Now I will see all of the data sets that have been created underneath that integration, and then all of the ones, if it's SaaS, that haven't been created are down here. Let's open it up for a database. The same thing applies. You'll see all of your existing data sets. And then from this screen as well, you can write a query or you can choose a table. Okay, pretty neat. I like that change. I think it makes it way easier to find objects if you have many integrations. Okay, moving down the line. Nothing has changed to delivery yet. A little prelude there. Settings, these are made into pop-ups just to make it a little more accessible. The admin panel has also been made into a pop-up. And you can see there's lots of click-throughs here that we'll be going through when we get to branding and white labeling and client management and everything. And also, we have added this help. Well, we've kind of updated the help button. So now instead of immediately opening up the chat app, you can click to the chat app, or you can get to our knowledge base from any page in the interface. Hooray, much easier, much more accessible. You don't have to click support.slemma.com to access it. You'll also notice this little tutorial. It won't matter for our current customers, but if you want to have a tour of the home page, you can do it at any time just for kicks and giggles. And that is the home page, the changes to the home page. I hope you guys like it. We'll be adding more tutorials as time goes on. Some will be feature-based, some will be page-based. That's going to be good. Okay. So let's go into creating some objects. Let's create a dashboard. What's this? Choose a dashboard template? No way. Yes, we have 25 dashboard templates that we've added across 10 of our SaaS integrations. The SaaS integrations we're doing are all 6 of our CRMs. So if you're using a CRM, we've added a dashboard template for it, and then at least one dashboard template. Some of them have more. Plus Google AdWords, Google Analytics, Zendesk, and QuickBooks. All have dashboard templates to them now. The way it works is you simply click on it. You'll select the integration that you want to use to create that dashboard template, and then it will go ahead and create it. I'm not going to create it right now because it's already 10:17. So let's create a blank. I don't want to use a template. Let's insert a chart. See, nothing has changed here. Now this is a pop-up. So hopefully it'll be much easier to understand where am I in the Slemma app, because right now sometimes even I get confused, like am I selecting a data set now or am I selecting a data source? What am I doing? So let's find my Google Drive integration, and I will find my e-commerce. There it is, e-commerce 2. I could have searched as well, but I'm not going to. I'm going to select e-commerce. And there we go. We've made the chart type choosing much more visual. So hopefully you'll be able to actually understand what the differences are, because right now it's a little difficult. It's like a tiny little panel. Like, how many of you actually use the bullet chart type? It's a really cool chart type, but no one finds it. So hopefully people will start using more of our chart types. Let me quit Slack here. Let's select bar chart. And now we are in the quote unquote new chart designer. Just some small changes. Honestly, nothing has really changed. We've just made it into a pop-up. We've put the tabs up here, and we've moved the design over into the right side. So you don't have to move as far when you're clicking stuff. Let's create a chart. Customer segment, we'll add a measure. We'll add sum of sales. It'll go ahead and render that. Let's go ahead and add a filter. Let's filter out device type. If I select mobile and I back out, or if I click done, ooh, a pop-up. Changes you have made to filters may not be saved. Click apply. I'm just highlighting that because a lot of people, they create a filter, but they don't apply it. So we're helping users understand that you need to apply the filters. The next one is, you'll notice this little wheel here. We've gotten rid of these. I like these. We haven't gotten rid of them. We've just moved them here. And the reason is, by moving them here, we can actually have a name as to what they are, right? So you don't need to learn what these symbols are. It'll just say, format, sort, design, great. Let's do some formatting. We can still do it from the dashboard side, like adding drill down, or I don't know, changing the color or something. Okay. For SaaS integrations, let's try this one. I'm not going to create it, but I just want to show that for SaaS integrations, you can now select, before you select your data set, you can now select a chart type. So all of the chart types by integration will be listed there. So you don't have to click the data set first and then see the chart types. You'll just be able to click on the integration and then see all of the chart templates, that are available, regardless of what data set they're built on. And you can add one. Okay, and if you click blank, that's when you'll be asked to choose a data set. So we're still trying to improve this, but hopefully it'll be more clear. And you can see that the support and knowledge base buttons are available on every page. Okay, just a little heads up, this add filter button has been changed to the more generic filter button. And that is all for that. I think that is it for the new UI aspects. Let me back up and see if I've missed anything. I did not. Okay, cool. So that's kind of a quick walkthrough through the UI improvements. Like I said, nothing crazy, nothing that it's not like we're updating. We're not like completely reworking the chart designer or anything like we did in December. All the elements are the same. We're just trying to make small improvements. All right. Oh, well, thank you. Thank you. Okay, so moving on. We'll go back here. Great. All right, let's talk about client reporting. So there are three aspects of client reporting. There's client management, there's dynamic filtering, and there's the dashboard template designer. So these are three features that put together create the ability for you to really manage and report to your clients. So let's read through these bullet points. Client management, just like I said during the pricing, a user can now be used as an internal or external user. So you don't need access to the client user type. You can have your 10 users for the small business plan, have 5 of them be internal, 5 of them be clients. Clients, if you have been using clients, we've increased the options for the user rights. So currently, you can only share objects to clients as view only. And there are certain limitations to that, obviously. So now we've expanded it so that clients, you can share objects to clients with all rights: view, edit and share, and blocked, obviously. So yeah, obviously you're gonna have to, make sure you don't share something that you don't want to share with them with edit and share rights, but it's going to make the options and the things you're able to do much more customizable. And finally, we are adding a new user role. It's called the client group admin, or actually it's a group admin. We have 2 new roles, one for internal and one for external. This role will allow that user to be an admin of their group. So it kind of lets you create little teams inside Slemma underneath your master team. Really, really cool. You can even set user count maximums for each group. And I'll show you that in a second. So that way you don't have a client group admin that's adding their entire company. And then having you front the bill to Slemma for the user rights. Okay, so I'm going to explain in words all of the features, and then we're going to show you. The next thing is dynamic filtering. So that was client management. We're going to the second feature of client reporting called dynamic filtering. The general use case for dynamic filtering is you have a multi-tenant database structure, which means you have different clients' data in a single integration, if you're going to say it in like Slemma terms. So you have one database and all of their, like, I'm going to keep on using the term for merchants, right? If you're reporting to a whole bunch of merchants in your payment processor, you have many, many, many different stores that use your payment processing. All of their data is stored in one place, and you use the filter of a merchant ID in order to separate out the data, right? And so to expand on that use case, you need to share an identical report to many users with just their data. If that's your problem, then dynamic filtering can help. So you'll create one object, you'll share it to many people, and Slemma will filter out and show to each person the data that they're interested in, or that they, obviously you only want them to see. I'll show you how that works. It's basically just a very simple concept of pairing the user record on the Slemma side to the merchant ID in the example on the database side. Okay, very cool. Okay, so I should have had a to the app after client, or after client management. So I'm going to show you two things right now. I'm going to show you client management, and I'm going to show you dynamic filtering. That was a small mistake there I had. Okay, cool. So let's walk through client management. I'm going to go to my admin panel here. So all of you that are on the small business plan will see this. If you're on the starter, please upgrade and you'll have access to these as well as 10 users. Let's click through. So for this, let me switch back over to the merchant reporting team real quick. All right, so for clients, we have two clients. We have the merchant 1 and merchant 2. We also have client groups. So if I add a client group, create client group, we'll just say, I don't know, North American merchants, something like this. Okay. There are 0 clients in that, but if I open it, I can actually edit. I can change the name, and I can set that maximum number of clients in this group. Really cool feature. So if I add another client, I can, okay. So the client, the group client admin role will only be available at the white labeling plan. So this demo thinks that I'm in the starter plan, which is, or the small business plan. So let me, well, basically, it's going to have another option there that says client group admin. And that user is going to be able to add other users to their group. They're also going to be able to do some object management, like they're going to be able to share the objects. They're going to be able to look and have complete access rights or the maximum access rights to each object. You'll also see that just same as users, you're able to restrict access to different parts of the app for each and every client. This is all available via the API as well. Really, really cool. And that is generally it. Let me go to team members. If I add a user, you'll see we still have the team member and administrator user rights. Nothing has changed there. You can have the different groups and set the different access rights. The results of the client management or the client group admin role is really you're enabling each of your client companies the ability to have their own merchant or their own BI tool. That's really what you're doing. You're providing them with the data sets that they want. You can even enable the different integrations for them, and they can add and remove users on their own. So it's really, really cool. And even if you don't enable them to add users and remove users on their own, even with the small business plan, you can have a really cool reporting system that's really easy for you to manage. I think it's really awesome that we've enabled these client reporting features for the small business plan. Because even with 10 users, I run into people that have only 2 internal users, and they have like 5 people that they want to share reports with, even if they are like, higher ups that don't need complete access, but you don't want them like messing up with your Slemma stuff either. So really is quite neat. Okay. The next thing here is we're going to go through dynamic filtering. So what is dynamic filtering? Dynamic filtering, again, is the ability to have a single data set, basically, in Slemma terminology, that has many users' data in it. And it allows you to tell Slemma, this row belongs to that guy, this row belongs to that guy, and so on. So it's 2 parts. One is to set up custom attributes for the users, and the second is to pair the data set with that custom attribute. Pretty straightforward. So I have this merchant reporting demo. We're going to use that to test it out. Let's go to the admin panel, scroll all the way down. Custom attributes will be here if you have the small business plan. We'll click through it and we'll see, I'm going to take a swig of water here, that we have the merchant ID custom attribute. It's just a name. In essence, you're adding a blank field to all user records and groups. Let's go back to our clients. I can now click on these three dots and we'll see custom attributes. So for the client ID custom attribute, I have put in a attribute value of merchant-1. It is presumed then that this value will be used to filter the data. So if you have a merchant ID that's like 1579, blah, 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 you'll use the API or put it in manually to fill up this custom attribute for the users that need it. I don't have a group here, but if I did, I could also set the custom attribute for the group. Dynamic filtering can be worked with both clients and internal. So if you have external users that are using your application or something like that, and you want to share reports inside your app or outside your app, inside a white labeled Slemma, whatever, you can do that. Or if you have, like, let's say your sales team and you're using Salesforce and you want to share a report that has each region's data, simply have a region field, map that region field to a region custom attribute in your user records, and then share the dashboard. And you have one dashboard for your entire company that has data filtered down to the region level with no possibility of somebody accessing another region's data. Really, really cool. All right. Let's go down. Oh, you know what? I forgot to talk about branding. That's really a part of all of this. Let's finish up with dashboard templates. Then I'm going to come back with branding and white labeling. Okay. Let's go to the merchant reporting demo. So I'm going to open up this dynamic filtering test. We see merchant ID. So let's look at the data table. So we can see I have a row here with merchant-1 and merchant-2. So if I share the report to merchant-1, that user, they should only see a value of 100. So I'll click on this field. It's not paired with a custom attribute yet. So these are defaults. You can enable it with email or group name by default. I'll pair it with merchant ID. Okay. And we'll click done. Great. So now I have my little report here. We have merchant-1 and merchant-2. If dynamic filtering works, I'll share it with merchant-1 and they'll only be able to see this column. Let's share it. Okay, it's shared with merchant-1 and merchant-2 with view-only rights. You can see I could have shared it with more, but I would never do that with dynamic filtering because I don't want them to change it because it'll change for all the merchants. Like I don't want them to change the color, right? But even if they were to get access to it, they could change the aesthetics, they could change the chart type, but they could never actually remove the filter. So even if there's a mistake there, the user could never remove the filter. Okay, cool. So let's test it. I'll go to clients, I'll go to merchant-1, and I'll log in as that user. Ignore that. And where is it? Merchant ID filtering test. We'll open it up and voila, merchant-1. So they did the dynamic filtering worked. They have no access to merchant-2's data. If they were to, or if I were to log into merchant-2's account, they would see merchant-2 with a value of 200. Okay, let me log back into my normal account here. All right, great. Cool. So what I've showed you so far is the client management, and I've shown you dynamic filtering. So we have one more use case as a part of client reporting, and that's called the dashboard template designer. So this works when you have a single database, single tenant database. In Slemma terminology, it means that your client's data is across several integrations. So imagine this scenario. You are a HubSpot partner, and you help users that use HubSpot to set up their HubSpot account. You help them manage it. You help them do all the settings and set up all their campaigns and stuff. You have many, many HubSpot customers. In Slemma terms, you would have many integrations, right? So the dashboard template designer will allow you to give access to all of these different clients, give them access to a dashboard that you have designed for your HubSpot integrations. And it's still the same use case when you need to share an identical report to many users with just their data. So let's take a look at it. Basically, it's very easy to understand. In the same way that Slemma is providing dashboard templates to our users, I'm switching tabs because our different betas have different things enabled. You can add dashboard templates for your users. It's really easy to do. You design the template with one of the integrations, even a database integration. Obviously, the user then would need to have a database that has the exact same structure. But you can even design dashboard templates with databases and SaaS, not cloud storage, not Google Drive or anything, but for everything else you can. And once you design it, you simply click add and you select that report and you publish it. Now, everyone in your team will have access to create that dashboard template. So if you imagine the master team, which is your team, you can now add the dashboard template and make it available to all of your internal users and your external ones. Really, really cool. It's literally these. If I add a dashboard template, that's what I do. I go into our admin account. I create the dashboard. I go and then I add it to the library. So we've created a feature for ourselves to add dashboard templates available for you guys. You can now do that for your users. Really, really cool. And that in gist is the client reporting features that we're adding. Just to wrap it up, obviously, if you want to make it seem like it's really your product, you're going to want to do things like brand and white label. So let's open up the branding. I'm going to go back over to this guy. We'll go to admin and we'll go to branding. This logo and the product name can be changed. So let's go to here. I've got a generic logo here. I'm going to upload it. And let's say it's merchant reporting. That's my product name, right? So like imagine your company, merchant reporting. That's what you decide to call your merchant reporting product. And let's change the colors. You can also change it down to the RGB or the hex level. So completely customizable. I think I like the gray the best. And even the font families. So you can even do a custom font family where you just put the commas in like that, and then it works the same exact way as choosing one of the standard ones. And there you go. So that's branding. You might know it as kind of a soft white label. It's like a standard feature term in other products. But it allows you to change the look and feel of the app without paying for a full white label. And of course, we have the white labeling. This has been available in Slemma for some time, but we're making it more visible now. You can change the custom URL. You can change the favicon or favicon, however each one of you says it. You can even change the custom emails or the emails that come out from the Slemma instance. So we have a whole bunch of emails that come out from Slemma itself, like a dashboard's been shared with you, or you've been invited to a team and all that sort of thing. Not only can you change the HTML level of each of those emails of the system, but you can change from where they come, right? So you don't want it to be from Slemma support. You want it to be from merchant reporting at yourcompanyname.com, right? And you can even redirect the support. So this little button here, where does this go and where does this go? You can change it, or you can get rid of it. Pretty cool, huh? Look at the questions at the end there. Great. Okay, so that is client reporting. So to review, the main aspects of client reporting are the branding and white labeling, which I just showed you. There's the client reporting, or the client management, which allows you to a couple new roles. It allows you to have external and internal users and that sort of thing. And then obviously the dashboard management side of it, the object management. With dynamic filtering, you can have a single dashboard object that is shared to many different customers or companies, with that data automatically being filtered. You can even share the data set itself with view-only rights. The user won't be able to edit or remove the pairing, but they will be able to create a new dashboard off of it, and it will automatically be filtered because the filtering is based on the data set level. So imagine sending your customers a list of 10 reports and also the data set. So cool. Now they can look at those 10 custom pre-built reports that kind of apply to them, but they don't answer their specific question. And then they open up the data set and they see, this is everything. This is everything they have. So now I can go and I can create a report on my own without asking my account manager or blah, blah, blah. And the last feature is the dashboard template designer. So in the same way that Slemma provides dashboard templates for each of our users and companies, you can now provide your own design of dashboard templates to each of your companies and clients. The main benefit of that is that it will work when each of your users' data is spread across many different integrations, or an integration for each customer. Take another swig of water. Okay, cool. I see you guys are using the Q&A thing there. That's great. Please continue to do that. If you have questions, please ask. The next thing is the data refreshing. So I see there's another question there, at least one more, about dashboard performance. So let's take a look and talk about how refreshing works right now in Slemma and how it's going to work after the launch on the 15th. So right now, data refreshing in Slemma, there are problems with it. One is that there are many different settings. There's the data set level for some integrations. There's the integration level for others. Even if you have a dashboard, some of you might have had the dashboard warm-up feature enabled for you, which is kind of a secret feature that you had to ask for, and so on. Really confusing. And actually, how we handled data from different sources was different depending on the integration. So even on our side, things were different depending on what integration you're using. And lastly, probably the most annoying, is that the data only actually loaded or got cached when you opened the report. So the data refreshing was more of I want my data to be at least this young. That was pretty much it's a confusing statement even now, but that's kind of what it does. So in the new system, ta-da, we have only one setting system. So there's going to be an integration level setting that will act as a default, no matter what integration you're using. So for every integration, there will be an integration level data refreshing. then that will act as the default. Any data sets you create off that integration will have that refresh rate. If you want to change the refresh rate for that data set, you can do that. You can change it from its default on the data set level. And that's it. That's all the settings. Integration default, data set level, if you want. Okay. The second thing is backend handling. We are changing the way data is processed on the Slemma side, so it's actually all the same in the backend. It doesn't really affect you, but the way it does affect you is that data refreshes at the scheduled time, regardless of user activity. So if you set the data set to refresh at 1 a.m., Slemma will load the data at 1 a.m. and it will calculate the dashboard at 1 a.m. This basically means the stuff that you were waiting for every time you opened up a dashboard will already be done. If you want to see data that's right at that moment, you'll just have to right-click refresh now, just like you can at the current time. But that will be the way that you will get the most recent data. Okay, so the end result is going to be that it's, one, pretty easy to understand what's happening, and two, that your Slemma experience is going to be so much faster. You're going to be like, what is life? Slemma is so fast. Slemma is the best thing. When in reality, we've just done the work already. So let's go to my data sources tab. Oh, this is a bad team. Let me switch over to right here. And let me switch teams again. Aha, okay. So if I right-click on the Infusionsoft demo integration, I'm going to see integration settings. And here we have data refresh. Oh, so it's only daily for this account. Ah, dang it, how annoying. Oh no, okay, let me switch back. Sorry, guys. Okay. Let's try that again. Some changes have been made to this one, but we'll explore the concept here. Data refreshing. So here we have the integration settings, and this is the update rate every day. I click OK. This will not be the performance that you experience. This is the beta site. And if I click Browse Datasets, I can set the refresh rate for each individual data set as well. Oh, where is it? Ah, bummer. Okay. I cannot show you right now. But the concept is pretty easy to understand. In essence, there's going to be two refresh rates, one for the integration level. This will act as the default, and one for the, let me just go like this. One will be the refresh rate for the integration level, and you can adjust the data set on the data set level. Now, the way it'll work, just to explain it further, is that once you have the data set, all of the dashboards that are built off of that data set will be calculated at the time you set on the refresh rate for that data set. So if you have 5 dashboards all in that same data set, Slemma will get all of the data, and it will go ahead and calculate all of those dashboards. I saw something about the filtering. The way Slemma used to work or currently works is that it will only grab, when you're working with databases, the data that it needs for the current render. This is also changing. So Slemma will grab the entire data set. Now, we are still working on what kind of restrictions we want to place on that. appears like there will be a row restriction to the dataset side, and I don't know what it's going to be yet. We'll have to tell you guys. But in essence, Slemma will grab everything now, even for database data sets. And what that's going to mean is that Slemma will not have to query again if you apply a dashboard filter. It will just get data from the existing query. Okay. Great. And that's pretty much it. So to review, there are four main things that are changing. One, we have the pricing, which, like I said, for existing customers, it's really not going to affect you all that much. Except for the fact that we have a new plan, the $199, which has the dedicated rep and everything. Then we have the second thing that's changing, which is the UI improvements, just some small changes. We've added dashboard templates and things like that. The third change is the client reporting, which has client management, it has branding, it has dynamic filtering, it has the dashboard template designer, and lastly is the data refreshing. Some will be much faster for you now. When you apply dashboard filters, you won't have to wait. And the actual setting of the database or the refresh rate will be much more as expected. You set 1 a.m., the data is going to be what it was at 1 a.m. Okay. Great. That is pretty much it. 50 minutes. That leaves 10 minutes for Q&A. In general, though, does that look pretty good to you guys? Just to get a quick feeling on it. Great. Yeah, I think it'll be a much better experience for all. It's cool, right? That's what I'm most excited about. Like, I know data refreshing is it's cool, and honestly, like it's going to make the whole experience a lot better, but dynamic filtering, that's cool. I think that's really cool. And the fact that we have it for small businesses, like you can start using it for 2 clients, and then you can use that same dashboard and just add. And as you add more clients and add more users to Slemma, it'll just scale with you. You never have to do anything to that dashboard. You just have to populate, every time you add a user, you just populate the custom attribute value, and then they'll have data, and then share the dashboard with them. And then they'll only be looking at their data. Yeah. Awesome. That's great. Cool. All right, so let's get into these questions. Hopefully I answered most of them. I'd love to hear about how to best partition data sets to improve performance on reports and dashboards. At the moment, I have 1 dashboard that provides access to year-to-date data. I've created 3 more, which participant for yesterday. Is that the best way to go? In general, hopefully data refreshing will just put all of the loading and the performance on the back end. If you're using what's called a flat integration, having many different data sets will be very nice and it'll load very fast, but hopefully you don't need that anymore with the new refreshing schedule. So what I would suggest is once it releases, play around a bit and just use the one big data set. Hopefully it's, if it's less than 1 million rows, you're going to be good for sure. And you're good to go. So hopefully it's going to be all okay. And it's going to put all of that performance stuff behind. The only time you'll experience that long load time is if it's like 2 p.m. Let's say you've set it daily and it's 2 p.m. and you want to see like something happens. So you want to see the data after 2 p.m. You'd right click, refresh now. And then at that moment, you'd have to wait. But other than that, the performance issues should go behind the scenes, and as the user, you won't experience them anymore. Okay. Okay. And so, Gabriel, I think we answered your question. So we're good. Like I said, why are filters generating new queries? That's because Slemma used to only grab what it needed. Now it's going to grab the entire data set. And so you won't have to wait for the new query to run every time you do a dashboard filter, or even when you're building a chart. How about chart resizing and mobile responsiveness? Sometimes regular charts don't resize or load with different sizes, with different font sizes on mobile and web. We're doing our best to keep everything very responsive. If you have a specific instance where something doesn't resize, we would need like the specific example. So if you're on your mobile, we just need the screenshot, to be honest, at this point, to know exactly what's happening. At the moment, we're not looking to release an app or anything like that. We're just keeping with the UI responsiveness. And in general, it should work, but there are occasions when you need to design your dashboard knowing that you want it to look nice on the UI. So if you are on your mobile, if you have a whole bunch of charts right next to each other, like single values, they're going to like stack up. Maybe you don't want to do that. If you have data that has a lot of tiny little boxes, like with a tree map or something like that, that's not going to look well on a phone. So at the moment, you just kind of have to work with it. And maybe that would be a good thing for us to do, maybe like a best practices for the current state of the app. But we don't have anything like that right now. Okay. Any plans on adding more chart filters like target value or more control to map charts? Chart filters like target value. We have the bullet chart type, which has a target value in it. So I'm not sure exactly what you mean by that one. Do you have any more context there in the chat? I can't do it without adding a calculation. Do you mean having a target value actually display in the chart? Or do you mean filtering by the chart, by a target value? Okay, check out the bullet chart type if you haven't already, because you can set target values, maximum values, mid values, and minimum values. So there's the actual value you're tracking, and then you can set 4 like target-esque values, one being an actual target value. It's a really cool chart type. Okay, cool. Yeah, it's towards the bottom. And then controlled map charts, not currently. I do have some specifics that I want to see that will increase the flexibility, but right now we don't have any plans to do that right now, in the next quarter at least. Okay. How about publishing a report with a predefined filter? I know that some of our charts are best viewed when filtered for region. Is it possible, is in the feature list, that we'll be able to publish a filter in the report so that it's already there populated for people to use? Oh, I should start answering. You're talking about basically filtering by passing a certain parameter in the URL. It is in our feature list. We do not have, it's not queued yet. We believe, hopefully for at least your private reports, dynamic filtering might solve some of this, but when you're looking to just have it filtered like that, not yet. So it is in the queue, or sorry, it is in our list, in our heap list, but it has not been queued yet. That's all I can say right now, but we are well aware of this feature request, and you're not the only one that's asked for it. Right, but for that, you can simply use if they are looking at the report, check out the dashboard filters. If you haven't Have you been able to play with dashboard filters yet? I haven't embedded the report chart into a dashboard. It should work. Let me show you a report here. So let me go my world map sample. This might be a bad example, but if I go to edit, you see this add filter button. So I'll add country ID and I'll go over to view mode. This filter remains. So your end users, this is a bad example because it doesn't make sense, but your end users can actually filter this on their own. I have a better example. So you can do that on the report level, on the individual chart level, and you can do it on the dashboard level. Go to my e-commerce demo dashboard here. And you have flexibility with it also. So you can set it so it doesn't affect certain charts if you want. So like this, for instance, I have the last 30 days. I've set it so it'll affect this chart, but it won't affect this one because I want this one to stay current day. So we'll go here and we'll change it to be the last 90 days. Okay, and done. And you can see this one changed to be 90 days, but this guy stayed. And then they stack too. So I could filter by source and state at the same time, and that'll affect the entire dashboard. I think that's where you should start. Nice. Cool. All right. I'm gonna stop answering that. Great. I think that's it, folks. So if you have any more questions, feel free to open up the chat inside the application, and you can talk to Josh and me or Mary and Gail. If you have specific questions, you can email me at matt@slemma. And then if you have sales questions, maybe you want to upgrade to white labeling or something like that. Yeah, we think are really cool. Yes, we will. Yes, we will. We will be sending that out, I think, maybe tomorrow. At the latest, we'll be sending it out Wednesday, Carlos. So you should have it once Jackie gets back. My pleasure. Thanks everyone for participating. And if you have sales questions, to finish my last statement, you can email mimi@slemma.com. She might take a little bit to get back to you because she's going out, but please do that and ask her about all the things. Cool. All right. Thank you, everyone. And I'll see you in the app. Bye-bye.